First match of the night for these two, or sorry, map of the night, we're going to roll right on in. Grizzlies v XL2.
Rumor has it that Adam turned to Flower just now and said, boy, I'm glad you're on my team this time around, and not actually just murdering everyone. Widowmaker, Overwatch World Cup style.
Yeah, I hope everyone knows how excited I am because Flower was one of the first lands that I casted. It was LW Red versus Lunatic High, and he was one of the major reasons why they were able to stop them. Now Flower on the Tracer pushing forward, but he gets taken out by Zapri.
Well, he's killed early on, of course, in large part due to Zapri getting in there in the moment, but we still have Mangachu in the sky, takes down Spirit, the aerial threat there for XL2. And Mangachu right now, mostly uncontested, comes really close to getting another pick off here. Now, looking for Spirit once more. Spirit over to the side, not able to land the mid-air rocket. So while this is going on, XL2 has to get back on the point. Flower back in once more, and XL2 is trying to fight their way out of the hole right now. They're down members, they're fighting at a numerical disadvantage. Mangachu hasn't been able to get as much as he'd want, but he gets Spirit there towards the end, and now Mercy in his sights. Good knockback from the concussive blast, but still not enough to finish it off.
But Pag is dropped low. He does have that Mercy now to keep him topped off. Flower is on the point with this tank line here. Dahoon has to be careful on that Lucio to stay alive now. We do have the self-destruct coming out from Graceful. Doesn't catch anyone, but does force everyone off the point. Self-destruct even used there.
Well, right now, it's worth noting that the Grizzlies did get first control of the points, so the Grizzlies, who are very much not favored here, doing well early on. Flower on the Tracer, looking for Lucio, gonna finish it off regardless of the Diva being in the fray. Meanwhile, Spirit in the back, barrage loaded, but his team is dying in the front. Doesn't have a great opportunity to use it here, and XL2, they're able to reflip the point.
They will flip the point. Grizzly securing 33% now. Once again, it's how difficult it's gonna be for Spirit to try and get in with this far. Luckily, there isn't a long-range hit scan on the opposite end as he tries to make his entry in, but he does have Mangachu there standing in his way, who has taken him out of the skies twice already.
Mangachu looking for Spirit. Oh my goodness, that's where Pharaohs kill other Pharaohs. This position here, and it's gonna be Spirit! Works it back around the other way. Turns the tables on Mangachu there, and the Grizzlies now with a window of opportunity. 6 on 5, barrage loaded. Spirit, is he gonna let it fly? No, he ends up getting caught by Midnight instead, so both teams down to Farah. And Zapri now on the ground. Blows up Clone Man, working around. Can he punish the resurrection? Dahoon, Goliath, down he goes. Zapri able to finish it off.
But Mangachu is back, goes for the barrage, taking out Pag, but he does fall for his efforts as Spirit tries to go for a barrage of his own. So neither far is successful with them, but Grizzlies with the man advantage will be able to flip the point. XL2 only securing 56%.
XL2 in the lead, but not in any sort of dominant fashion here. And the Grizzlies in a good spot to take the lead here in just a moment. All they need to do is just catch XL2 off guard. XL2 does not have much going into this fight.
And Zapri with the read, they're holding in the kitchen as they had the Winston jumping in. Clone Man already dropped down low. Will survive for now. Flower goes in, is forced to recall. We do have the self-destruct coming out. Nothing coming of it, but Clone Man will fall to Zapri.
Clone Man already down. Flower, though, takes a Tracer v Tracer, and he already got half the way to the point on his own early on. But the problem is the Grizzlies, they use the barrier. Spirit wins the fair on fair battle, and no one is checking Spirit in the air right now. Flower might be dashing on the point on the ground, but doesn't really matter. Spirit with so much room to work with, gonna be de-meching here once more. Midnight out of the mech, and the Grizzlies holding control as Midnight takes a rocket to the back.
Yep, that's a great stagger onto Midnight here. So the Grizzlies, great hold so far here defensively on Village. XL2, though, have a lot of tools coming up. It's just going to be Ult-Apocalypse now between these two teams. But Grizzlies, it's Spirit trying to take the air battles up against Mangachu. Mangachu dropped low, but he does have the pocket to keep him alive. Spirit takes a direct body hit. He stays alive, though, backs away. He's got the barrage now.
Flower got the Hun in the back. He got the early pick off than Lucio. XL2 trying to focus more on the ground. Mangachu and Spirit, of course, in the skies right now, but Zapri strikes on back. Clone Man out of the fight. Flower again. Oh, he finds a rocket instead. Spirit catches him on the flip side. Barrage over the top from Spirit. Finds Mangachu, and the Grizzlies might be shocking XL2 here as they're about to take round 1.
It may be winter in Nepal, but the Grizzlies are not hibernating right now. Spirit's still alive, and of course, with the tank line just booping everyone away, Grizzlies walk away with Village.
My word. Just when you think XL2 is coming in as the huge favorite, and perhaps they still are, it's simply one round of control. the Grizzlies show that there is life in them yet. And how this team has evolved, by the way, where, don't forget, the Grizzlies started out in week 1 doing nothing but Sombra, no matter what.
Yeah.
Not really on their menu right now, is it?
No, Zapri's been looking so good on this Tracer already that Sombra look wasn't the greatest for him. This is much more comfortable playing into this. Now the 2-2-2 dive. Spirit goes over to the Genji. It's going to be Mangachu on XL2 that goes with that Sombra.
This worries me on the XL2 side. I don't think Mangachu's Sombra was all that good the last time he played it. He has a deep hero pool, yes, but his Sombra was sketchy. Maybe he's had time to level it up in the meantime, but this is going to put a lot of weight on Flower's shoulders.
Yeah, Flower looking to find a way into the back line right now. Grizzlies, though, balled up by that elephant statue. They're getting chunked down. Both supports. Dahoon somehow stays alive through this.
Meanwhile, Flower looking for an opportunity, laying in the damage in the Diva, diving around, gets Pog on the backside, just tank damage going in, but Spirit on the other side got both tanks. Spirit is playing out of his mind right now, far better than last time we saw the Grizzlies.
And Flower is forced to retreat here. He's getting chased down. Spirit is the man to finish him off. He might get the kill onto Goliath here. Oh, Goliath. Consolation kill onto Spirit, but it was the Grizzlies to walk away with that fight, walk away with a point. 9% now already secured for them.
I haven't seen Spirit play this well since his early Rise Nation days, and let me tell you, though, that was a really long time ago. I'm curious to see if he can keep it up.
We'll see. He does almost have that blade, 85% now. Mangachu still struggling to get this EMP, hasn't been able to get the same kind of impact so far with this Sombra now, but it's Flower with the pulse bomb. He's on the hunt. Spirit dropped low. He has to deflect it and dash away. Now they're on the hunt. Dahoon goes down.
Spirit, though, can heal up. He's gonna have a blade soon. Flower, though, drops the bomb on the point, does not connect. Still looking for more. Dashing to the side. Right now, just focused on tanks in and around. Meanwhile, though, Zafri on the other side doing way more work, has gotten Midnight out of the fight. Mangachu hasn't come up with much here, builds an EMP, but no one else is really alive to take advantage.
Yeah, 50% in, and now they have that EMP, but will they be able to take advantage of it? Spirit has his blade. He's been holding on to it for about the last 30 seconds, and Mangachu just gets clipped down by Zafri.
That can't happen. And again, I don't know if Mangachu is really comfortable on the Sombra. Anytime he's used it, it's been kind of a meh result here so far, and this has not contradicted that point of view.
And Grizzlies coming into this next fight, 70%. They've got 4 ultimates up. Pag's about to get the 5th with that Primal Rage now, while XL2 just need to try do anything here. It's coming down to the last fight now, 80% for the Grizzlies. Transcendence in.
Early Transcendence in, Mangachu's gonna wait it out, then EMP, drops EMP, and hits a whole bunch in the process. Flower cleans up Blam immediately post-EMP. Adam looking for more, and the EMP does its job for XL2 here. It was a good area to take the fight. Flower still in the cleanup. XL2 should be able to flip this back over, but they have no more margin for error.
No margin for error at all. 99% overtime ticks away XL2, just getting it there last moments now. But the good thing is, Grizzlies in that last fight, they had a lot of ultimates. They had 5. They only committed the Transcendence along with that Primal Rage out from Pag. So they are going to have the self-destruct, the sound barrier, and the blade behind it. Adam, he's going to have to be spot on with his right click to try and disengage from Spirit.
Grizzlies waiting for opportunity. Spirit, he has been the man of the hour, but he's getting focused down all the same here early on. Discord Orb still on him, having the back out. There's the barrier. Blade comes out in turn. Chasing things down, looking for anyone. Actually, it's Winston that he's focused on. Don't know if that is the ideal target to go for in the situation. Sure, he got low, but Clowman's still able to get out. Meanwhile, Flower on the flip side gets Pog, works his way to the back with Midnight, and the positioning from XL2 working very much to their advantage. And I don't know about the target selection there from Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, he saw the orb on the Primal Rage Winston. He thought maybe I can cut through this, but yeah, there were definitely better targets on the field for Spirit now. But still, they have about 2 fights for Grizzlies to try and flip this point back in their favor and walk away with this map. And now XL2 Academy are scrapping tooth and nail to send us to a 3rd point here on Nepal.
Well, one good way that they can scrap it out would be Zapri landing this pulse bomb here, diving in, waiting, looking for something, and that something's gonna be a Zenyatta. Fighting Goliath in the back, pulse bomb out, does not connect. Meanwhile, Blam out of the fight early on. The counter dive from XL2 super effective between Flower and Cloneman, and this fight is over. The Grizzlies might be letting XL2 off the hook.
Definitely XL2 now sitting in the power seat. They're gonna have the Transcendence. Well, Blam will be able to build up his. It's the fact that Flower will have his pulse bomb and Mangachu getting dangerously close to that EMP.
Meanwhile, you have Goliath with Transcendence. XL2, all they have to do is just take this fight straight up. Let Goliath be your guide. Move on in with the Transcendence and let Flower come in from the back. Flower looking, pulse bomb out, gonna get the D-Mech on the D.Va. It's a good, oh, they don't get the point! Grizzlies, you gotta touch the point! What are you doing? Oh no!
Yeah, I think in the panic of that pulse bomb, connecting onto the D.Va really forced them to try and disengage away from that, but that was at the prime opportune moment for Flower to connect it onto those tanks now. So we are going to a third point here on Nepal. That's going to be finished off here in Sanctum. Take a look at the setup coming out from the Grizzlies. Are they really going to run this double main tank setup?
They very well might, but Jamerson, do you remember that clip where Puckett said Bren was flip-flopping and you saw a guy holding a fish and the fish was just slowly getting away? That fish is XL2 right now, and the Grizzlies cannot hold on. They have to come in far stronger here into the third round.
Okay, so Pag will swap over to the D.Va for them as it's graceful. Picking up the Orisa, Zapri going back to that Sombra now in Spirits with the McCree. So a different look coming out from the Grizzlies here, but XL2, it's Flower on the Soldier 76 and Mangachu on the Junkrat. So these are definite comfort picks coming out for XL2, and already Goliath has started off to Hoon has fallen.
There's nothing more comfortable for Mangachu than a Junkrat here on Sanctum. He ran it before Junkrat was cool, and as a result, XL2 right now, as you mentioned, they're working with their comfort picks. They're controlling quite a bit of space between the Junkrat and the Soldier, and Grizzlies didn't even get a normal fight there. They just got pushed back.
Got pushed back indeed. And that was actually one of the interesting things I wanted to see, if Flower is going to be staying on like that hit scan main role because Mangachu is in there, because we also saw Flower during the World Cup qualifiers. He was the one that was using the Junkrat before the buffs even came in too. During their scrims also for Team Korea now, but this is such a great position to be in as Mangachu. He's got Clone Man's barrier, but they have swapped off there, going for the dive now coming out from the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies swapping up. XL2. Oh, they lose Mangachu immediately. It's a good dive from the Grizzlies. The changeup is effective, but look at Flower. Protected here in the back with the Orisa, but not protected for long. Pog leaps on him, Zapri. They disembark from the Orisa position, and as a result, the Grizzlies going to be taking this right back after the changeup.
Yeah, 41% is what was secured by XL2, so we got some changes coming out from XL2. Flower going over to the Tracer now. So we'll see. Zapri! Oh, runs right into a Junkrat, gets punished. That was that damage-boosted mines coming out.
Watch your step. Early advantage here for XL2, and the Grizzlies strike on back. They get Mangachu again. It's graceful coming in from the skies, but he gives up his mech in order to do that as Midnight continues his reign of terror. Might even be having a res up here, and we do. Mangachu back into the fray. Actually pretty close to a Riptire here as well, so Flower and Mangachu still in the fight. Flower taking the Tracer on Tracer, diving around the left side. Zapri in his sights. Is he going to chase it down? No. Swaps back to the tank side, and unfortunately for XL2, Mangachu died in the melee.
Yeah, Mangachu, after getting res, he still had the tank line on top of him, and that's really where they're able to close the distance and just make sure he's not able to get all that free damage off. You got the D.Va, you got the Winston with the barrier, just making sure the damage isn't going through. So right now, Mangachu still struggling to get that Riptire. He's at 95% now towards it. Will have it for this fight, while Grizzlies don't have anything really to mitigate it. We'll see if they can try and clear it coming in.
Zapri on the flank, looking for supports immediately. The D.Va's diving in, the self-destruct right in the fray of things. Such disruption coming in for the Grizzlies, and Adam was unable to find anywhere safe to go. The tire coming in from Mangachu does nothing. Caught by a Dragon Blade, no less. Risky stuff from Spirit.
Yeah, left him with a flat tire with that blade. And so now Spirit, even though he did use that blade in the last fight, this is such a great stagger. This is going to make it difficult for XL2 coming in now. Grizzlies already at 85% and even a staggered kill onto Flower. So Mangachu is swapping off onto the Genji. He knows he has to get back there real quick.
Well, you're not going to get Blade up here. I'm not actually sold on getting off the Junkrat in this situation, but hey, you're committed now. 96%. XL2 must hit the point. Pulse Bomb doesn't connect, but Mangachu cut down again. Early death for Mangachu. 2 quick kills here for the Grizzlies. Zapri goes wild in the backline. Goliath down. Adams in the air with Valkyrie, but he's one of the last people up that can actually heal. Everyone dying one by one. The Grizzlies controlling their den right now on Sanctum. This could be a 1-0 strike from the Grizzlies in a matchup where XL2 is favored.
Yeah, and Spirit with his final blade will just slash at the air, taunting Clone Man, who's not able to make it to the point at all, and somehow the Grizzlies walk away with the first map.
There was a lot of interest. People were expecting to see Nene play with Flower instead of Flower Mangachu. I feel like Mangachu was not playing at all to the caliber that we've seen from him in the past. So where do you kind of go? What I had asked in the first place was, is this a synergy issue? Is this they haven't played together very much issue? Or is Mangachu is he getting outplayed? What is going on with that?
I mean, normally I'm all about calling out players when they're playing it not so great, and I don't think this is like Mangachu's, I don't think we put it on his top 10 highlight reel or anything like that. I also think Zapri and Spirit just played out of their minds compared to what we've seen before. Zapri found another gear. And look, I was serious when I mentioned Spirit. Spirit was a player where at one point he was one of my top rising DPS players. And he sort of fell off. He didn't grind out as much. The early Glory Days of Rise kind of fell to the wayside. It's like, yeah, Spirit's a dude. He's not just a dude right now. He was a huge playmaker, and that's exciting, especially for him.
Yeah. It was a singular focus coming out from the Grizzlies to really try and deal with Mangachu. Now, once he was in the skies, once we were on Village with that Pharah, he was getting the better of the Pharah battles, but once he was grounded, had to go for that Junkrat. You saw time and again, he was getting focused down by that dive. They were on top of him 24/7, and it's hard to deal with that pressure as a Junkrat.
Mangachu also seemed to stay on Sombra a little bit too long.
Oh, yes, absolutely agreed. Mangachu has yet to show us that his Sombra is decent. I understand, I think he thinks the hero is very good. We have not seen very good Sombra play out of him on the whole so far here in Contenders, and I just don't think the hero is really to his style, because don't forget, Mangachu has always been more towards the projectile end of the spectrum anyways. Hit scan has never really been his top-level forte overall in his overall body of work.
Well, we do have some playback. This is Zapri, and if you guys can recall just from last week, Zapri's Tracer and Widowmaker, but we're seeing his Tracer right here. Zapri's Tracer was key to forcing that 5th map against Mayhem. So to see it come out again this week to the extent that it has, it's not surprising, but it also seems like he's gotten even better, if that's possible.
And we knew he was capable of this the entire time. Again, if you were a student of Overwatch, if you've watched it since the beginning, there was a moment where he was on Misfits back when Misfits was one of the very top EU teams, and he actually elevated them quite a bit for a period of time, and then he sort of disappeared for the scene for a while. But I don't really know all the reasons, but he took a hiatus. Now he's back, he's playing Tracer, and it's working out.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. And so far, he's going toe-to-toe up against Flower. And we were really touting Flower as one of the best players here in Contenders. But now Zapri is really starting to take the lead here in our, I would say, opinions. So, yeah.
Alrighty, well, let's go to map selection. They have us heading over to Hollywood. And where do you see, so I'm not familiar with Flower's play. You guys have seen this guy kind of come up through the ranks. Where do you see his strengths in this?
Widowmaker.
Yay.
One word, Widowmaker.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he does have a deep hero pool, so they can play anything right now. I think this is more towards playing towards Mangachu's strength. So we might see Pharah on offense. We're definitely going to see Junkrat on the defense. Of course, once we move on to second there, Flower will be swapping off probably to the Widowmaker to deal with that.
Yeah, as mentioned, you're going to see Widowmaker on second. You might even see them pull it on first, although it's a little bit rare nowadays. Teams generally prefer to take first with Brute Force, and then you use the Widow in the second. But there's no reason to believe that we won't be seeing Flower's Widow here, especially in second, because he's really good at it.
So what do we have to see from Mangachu to keep him to keep him from getting so heavily regulated in this game, this map?
Not Sombra.
Not Sombra.
Not Sombra. I'm thinking maybe for the tank line on the defensive end for XL2, they're going to run that Orisa Hog. And with the halt, you are able to slow down the dive pretty significantly. So that's what I want to see, the tank line really focusing on making sure they peel for Mangachu.
Alrighty, well, let's get into game. Let's see what XL2 chooses to do with that tank lineup. I will hand it over to you guys.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I like this look already. So XL2, we do have a swap coming in. Nene is in. We are going to see that Flower-Nene combination that a lot of people were expecting on the offense. They've even got Clone Man on the Reinhardt with Midnight on the D.Va.
Well, this answers the question where people are going, well, wait, is Nene getting picked up for an OWO team or what? Well, Nene is still here. So any reports about his demise might be exaggerated. It's going to be Nene and Flower leading the way, and Flower on the Junkrat, which of course he's quite good at.
Yeah, we have the Junker combo with the Roadhog here. They're going to try and deal with anyone that gets into the back line here. Flower, he's got the backup. He's got the Moira to keep him alive. Triple tank setup for XL2. Starting to set up onto the high ground now. Flower jumps up with that concussive blast.
Flower right now, just making space in the back. XL2 biding their time. Oh, Blam gets Flower off the flip side. That's one good way of dealing with a rat problem. And you quickly see XL2 go, yeah, okay, we're gonna back out. But Pod got picked off. There's gonna be a window here. Now they coalesce, they go back in. The Coalescence was keeping Midnight up for a while, but look at this, early blade from Spirit. Comes on out, picks off 2, but he will get hammered down back and forth.
Yeah, it's just going real back and forth between both teams now as Graceful takes out Midnight. Nene falls to Graceful also. So Grizzlies able to stabilize here, especially with that final staggered elimination onto Clone Man. So now XL2, they did spend 1 minute and 10 seconds on that push. They used, of course, that Coalescence, so now they're swapping off. Flowers going over to the McCree. Oh, he is feeling the hot hands. Let's go.
I would be suspect of most people going to McCree here going, do you really want to do it? It's Flower. I will give him due deference until he proves otherwise because his hit scan play is pretty good. Now we'll see what we can do. Grizzlies diving in pretty hard here, and it works out. They get Goliath immediately. Flower not able to finish off Tracer and ends up dying to the Zapri flank. XL2, they're just too slow there, caught off guard by the Grizzlies.
And Grizzlies now, with this dive composition, looks so good. They were able to get that elimination onto Graceful. So there's a window for them to come into this, but right now, Grizzlies' dive has been so deadly. XL2 Academy, they have to be careful approaching this. Flower isn't able to keep Goliath alive there as he does fall. Zapri once again into the back line.
Goliath has been a favorite target for the flankers of Grizzlies. They can go to him and almost already find, be like, yeah, we're gonna pick you up first, why not? Meanwhile, Zapri just playing, again, out of his mind on the point, and he takes the Tracer v Tracer versus Nene, and that's not an easy feat.
Not an easy feat indeed. Flower swapping off again. It's like World Cup all over again. He's playing Mystery Heroes, but it's not working out for them at all. He's going over to the Genji now. They want to be able to match that dive from Grizzlies, but the difference is that Grizzlies have such a huge ultimate bank here. Pulse Bomb comes out from Zapri.
Again!
Goliath is gone.
Goliath getting caught with the Pulse Bomb early on. He's their favorite target, as mentioned. Zapri is absolutely just insane right now. This is a ridiculous performance. How do you level up this much in 1 week?
1 week indeed. Well, stop playing the Sombra. Put Zapri
Yes.
on the Tracer, and it is working. Take a look. There's a minute left for XL2, and they're still struggling to get their ultimates up. Flower, 30% towards his blade now. Nene does have the bomb as he lurks around on the backside.
XL2 running out of time. One of their final attacks here. Soundbear early in from the Grizzlies. The Spirit can follow up with the blade. He's waiting for the barrier to go away from XL2. Now the barrier has faded. Spirit still hanging on, and it's Blam and Graceful just dealing with the XL2 dive. XL2 wasn't all committed at the same time. Flower was holding back while his tanks were going in. Here comes the late blade from Spirit. Looking for targets, supported here by his team, but he's not able to get through the Transcendence. He's gonna back out just a bit. Zapri again explodes another support. Every Pulse Bomb, a support kill.
Zapri is just picking apart XL2 Academy methodically. He knows he has to focus down the supports, and he has been doing it every single time. And now, as we come into this last fight, Flower, he does have that blade, but on the opposite side, Blam has the Transcendence. They need to burst him down quick before he can even pop it as we go into overtime.
Zapri again looking for Goliath. It's his favorite target. He's getting bopped around and down he goes. Flower, you blow Dragon Blade, you meet Transcendence. You cry on the inside as you die on the outside is what's going on the Flower. Zapri again just rotating around, cleaning up the outskirts. Down goes Adam. The Zapri show is here. We're just spectators to it. Overtime, falling away here. Flower still alive, but now he's not. Grizzlies hold on first in a definitive statement here against XL2.
Wow, we are just basically continuing the storyline of, EU Contenders now. A full hold, absolute full hold, no progress made whatsoever by XL2, and so now the Grizzlies are poised to take their second map and put themselves on match points up against our #1 seed essentially here.
This is actually absurd. This is not the storyline we thought we would be seeing, and frankly, Zapri has been outplaying any other flanking DPS in this game right now by a huge margin. And XL2 might not know it yet, but if there's any, I guess, consolation prize, he's going to be part of the Slambulance moving forward here, but we'll see if XL2 can deal with it, as so far, it's been a rough go for them.
And it's fine, right? You have the quad tank. All you really want to do is just move on to the point, body XL2 off of it, force them to come out. You know that they're going to be retreating into the cafe, and that does a disservice to the defense because, well, that means you have to funnel out in that small, narrow choke point where Zappri's, Spirit, and Graceful can just spam the entire time. So Grizzlies are just going to try and grind this out with the quad tank setup.
And when you only have to get one tick on the point, this is fair.
Yeah.
Because it's going to put so much more pressure on XL2, where normally the way you deal with quad tank, you give up a tick here, you roll around the outskirts, you win the first fight, and then you have ultimates for the next. You don't have that luxury when you only have one tick to give.
We'll see if any ticks are given by XL2 Academy. Grizzlies now, they have to be so excited over there to be gaining this victory so far. I mean, the first map off of them already on Nepal of all stages, and now here on Hollywood. Gonna charge forward with this quad tank setup. The Slambulance is in full effect. They are pushing out, and now the Junkrat spam from Flower does connect just a bit. He's already at 10% towards his ultimate, but he needs to build it up quicker, and he needs to be able to snowball this into the defense.
He needs to tire yesterday because Grizzlies are going directly on the point. No chill whatsoever in the Slambulance. They easily go in. They lose Blam early on, though, so now they're not having healing. XL2 can easily flip this the other way. You can't lose the Moira early on. And even though the Grizzlies fight back, again, there's no sustain. The Moira is a key part of the composition, and she died early.
Yeah, without that Moira, you are definitely going to go down quickly, and that's what we saw. I'm surprised that Grizzlies got that aggressive. They tried to charge into the cafe when really they could have played a little bit more patiently, waited on the point, wait for XL2 to poke out. Now, that's going to mean Flower has that rip tire ready. So, as Grizzlies push in, watch for Flower to go ahead and let it rip.
Grizzlies moving in once more, and as you said, here it goes. He's gonna let it rip. Flower on the outskirts a little bit, parkour on the side, over to the back. Doesn't like what he sees. Oh, turns around to Dahan. That's enough.
And the great part about that is that it just separates the forces of the tanks. Some tanks are focusing on, of course, the Riptire, while the others are focusing on the battle on the front lines there. You need all the cooldowns to keep those tanks up. If you don't have the defense matrix in play, your tanks are going to die, and so we do have some swaps coming out. Zappri now is going over to the Tracer.
Fair. Why would you even put him on Hog? I mean, I get the reason for this composition, but he's been so good in Tracer. Leave him on it. Meanwhile, Pog drops the Shadow into the cafe. The Supercharger down. Nene, though, on the side. Deadeye got to Hun. XL2 trying to work this from the outside in. They're able to bring Coman back up into the fight. And now Zappri on the Tracer. Again, just focusing on tanks all the while, but the McCree play of Nene forcing him back a bit, and XL2 is withstanding the storm here so far.
Yeah, they are. Zappri about to get melee to death. He gets the medkit, but he will fall as Nene was able to hit him with that flashbang. So now, Grizzlies, they've given up 2 minutes here. Spirit hasn't been able to build up that Graviton, and that's the kind of critical mass that they were hoping to reach with that quad tank setup, get all those ultimates. But Pag was able to get, of course, that Earth Shatter quicker. Spirit's now at 17% away from his Graviton surge. He might not even be able to build it up in this fight. He drops low. Never mind, he gets healed.
Well, right now, Zappri can either hold the Pulse Bomb for the Graviton, or he can freelance. And the way he's been going, he's probably going to freelance. Oh, he gets stunned! Able to rewind out. The follow-through was not there. Now the Big Bang combo's in play. Graviton does not fire out. Spirit taken down early. And Zappri, is he going to go on his own with this Pulse Bomb? His team's dying behind him. They got run over, but he got a free pick on Flower. There is a small window as a result.
Yeah, the sitting rat there after the animation of his tire. He gets res back into this by Adam. They're not taking any chances on the XL2 side. But here it is, Spirit. He's got his Graviton. Zappri and Graceful can combine with it. Even Blam coming up with the Coalescence. So there's a lot of Plan Bs, Plan Cs, and Plan Ds for the Grizzlies.
Well, right now it's Plan P, which involves Pulse Bomb followed up or set up by the Graviton. Spirit coming in from the backside. His main goal here, don't let this get eaten. Do not put in the Midnight's Maw. He's waiting. Both of these people, former teammates, holding on to the ground, dies again! Doesn't pull the trigger! You can't Graviton when you're dead!
Oh no, it's the last 20 seconds here for the Grizzlies, and they are getting staggered. What looked like what should have been just a great push for the Grizzlies. Getting thwarted here, but they still held on to their ultimates. They have 5 in reserve now. It's just down to Goliath and Clone Man. Midnight also possibly with that self-destruct. Spirit pushing forward now. 4 seconds left.
This is dangerous. This is where Graviton gets in. You're tilted because you've died twice. You force it out. Is he gonna throw it in the Midnight's waiting maw? He's waiting. Graviton connects. Pulse Bomb, though, is already out. We'll see if that's enough. It was just a fear of Midnight put in the spirit here as Zapri going around. Are we looking at a draw? Zapri, right now, the Stuff of Miracles can't get at him as well. He basically does his Graceful's help. Zapri once more pulling the Grizzlies over the finish line, but is it going to be enough? Respawn's not here yet. Nene on the point. Deadeye, not gonna get anything. Overtime in progress. You must touch the point at all moments, and oh my word, it's a draw.
But still, this works out in the Grizzlies' favor.
Yes.
Because they got the first map win. Remember, the draw just counts as a 0. This has basically come down to a best of 3 at this point. Grizzlies just need 1 map win in the next 2 to walk away with the victory.
Not the storyline I thought we'd be seeing as we came in.
Something that you guys brought up, and I just wanted to kind of clarify, is you talk a lot about the playstyle differences between hit scan heroes and projectile DPS heroes. The way that I understand it is hit scan is the second you pull the trigger, whatever your reticle is aimed at is getting hit. Whereas the projectile DPS, you have to lead. So where do you see, you talk about how certain people have a strength in projectile or a strength in hit scan. Where does that come into play in the actual overall team dynamic?
Well, I mean, it's practice and playtime. It's what... Obviously, projectile heroes have a decent amount of shared skill set between the two of them because, as you mentioned, you're focused on leading. Hit scan heroes, it's sort of, can you click on people effectively? Can you click heads? And it's why you see players tend to specialize in one or the other. There are rare instances where players can do both pretty well, but oftentimes with Overwatch, especially with how specialized teams have gone, you do see a player just sort of gravitate towards one end of the spectrum or another.
Yeah, but there we did see the diversity of Flowers' hero pool, where he is able to go hit scan, where he is able to go projectile, and so he can just pull out anything at any moment. And generally, yeah, like ZP had said, you try to specialize because that's a lot to try and train for, right? You have to find the nuances between the balances and also all the different matchups you have to fight against. But at this point, somehow Flower, he's just a miracle child. I remember he was playing 15 years old, I believe, when he played his first tournament up against Lunatic High of all teams while he was on LW Red. And so now, this is why he's one of the most celebrated, most anticipated pickups for the OWL, to see him activated for the OWL.
All right, well, we've got some replay here. This is yet again Zapri just doing work.
But it wasn't enough. Oh. Still, though, Grizzlies, again, with this draw on Hollywood, even though it was a draw, even though it should have been a win for them, they still have the light at the end of the tunnel. One more map is all they need.
If the Grizzlies, I just wonder if you had more faith in yourself there, where, look, I get all the strategic benefits of running with a 4-tank setup. It wasn't a bad idea. But I also think, if you especially saw that final fight went down, if they just played things standard, let Zapri continue to play in the Tracer, I feel like they could have managed at least one tick.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of Zarya when we've been watching these Contenders matches. Why is she kind of a lower pick hero?
Well, part of it is that we're not playing on maps that are really Zarya-friendly overall, is that when you think Zarya in current Overwatch, you think things like King's Row, where you'd run Reinhardt in the front, Zarya in the back, and that's just not part of the map pool, where Zarya is generally better when you can run her things like a Reinhardt, where it's more control-based, and then you have more cleaner setups as a result. But because we're so based on dive, where you're running Winston Diva all the time, Zarya doesn't have the mobility to stay up with that in most situations.
Oh, very cool. Well, that answers that. We are going to go to break really quick, but when we come back, right now we are at 1-0. It was a draw for that last match, so we're going to see it's coming out to a best of 3. Stay tuned.